Hey, sweetheart.
I'm good. How about you? Man, you must have all kinds of hours working here, huh? Oh, she did? Okay, I got you.
Trey. I think he went to the bathroom. Here he is. So we'll call the meeting to order and ask the clerk to call a roll.
Mayor Baldwin,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Thomas,
Here.
Councilman Collins,
Here.
Councilman Coyne,
Here.
Councilwoman McCombie,
Here.
Councilman Skidmore,
Here.
Councilwoman Wober.
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. So I need a motion to move into executive session for a discussion regarding a potential appointment to the tree board.
So moved.
Second.
The motion is second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We'll move in executive session. We'll continue our meeting when we come back. So council met in executive session and no votes were taken. We will move into the invocation. Is Pastor Tom Holloway here with the Faith Wesleyan Church? Yes, would you please lead us in the invocation? Thank you.
Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this opportunity to be here today. We know that you ordained us to be here for this time. And so, Lord, we pray that you would come and pray that you would give wisdom to those that would be making decisions. And Lord, as a community, we thank you for such a beautiful community. We pray for protection and peace. And Lord, we just thank you for all you've done for us and what you're going to do in and through us. And we pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, we'll move into item 2 is minutes. City Council meeting Monday, May 4th, 2026. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion.
Second. Favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it. We'll move into communications, and we will go to item A, swearing in of Fire Chief John Galansky. Galansky. I'll get it.
Good evening, everybody. Before I get, start move towards the future and talk about the future, I want to take a moment to recognize and show appreciation for our retiring Fire Chief, Billy Floyd. His dedicated years of service to the city of North Myrtle Beach, leading with integrity, always ensuring the safety of the community. And I just want to say thank you, not just from the organization and the city as a whole, but as a friend, and say thank you and wish you well in your future well-deserved retirement. And with that, I will move on to the future. Me and John started about the same time. I think you started about 2 months after me. So I've had the pleasure of working with him side by side for 3 years. So I can vouch for his integrity. I can vouch for the way he is committed to this community and the residents, the way he respects our men and women in uniform. He's the right guy for the job. So one of the things that, or probably the most important thing that I do as city manager is making key leadership hires. So I take that seriously. So John, coming to the city, again, we've worked together. I can see his commitment to the city, and I interviewed him knowing that after that process was done, that he was the right guy for the job. So I feel great about it. I know he's the right guy for the job. And with that, I want to say congratulations. And we will bring Crystal up here, John's partner, and our city attorney, Chris Nuri, will administer the oath of office.
All right, Chief, if you will, you want to get in front of the microphone? Yes, sir, if you would. Raise your right hand. If you'll repeat after me, I solemnly swear
I solemnly swear
that I will well and truly perform the duties of Fire Chief
that I will well and truly perform the duties of Fire Chief
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
I will obey and uphold
I will obey and uphold
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the laws of the state of South Carolina,
the laws of the state of South Carolina,
the ordinances of the city of North Myrtle Beach,
the ordinances of the city of North Myrtle Beach,
and all the laws and regulations
and all the laws and regulations
of the North Myrtle Beach Fire Department.
of the North Myrtle Beach Fire Department.
I do solemnly swear.
I do solemnly swear.
Congratulations, Chief.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'd like to take a minute to thank the city council for their trust in me, and Mr. Fabry, of course, for his trust in me. Thank some of my good friends for being here tonight. But I'd like to ask something of all the folks in the audience, and that is to stand up for a minute and turn around and give our folks in uniform a round of applause for what they do for us every day. We have a fire department and a police department that are full of absolute rock stars, and I will absolutely not miss an opportunity to highlight that in a public forum. So thank you for the recognition. I look forward to seeing all of you in our community. And again, thank you all, our people, for being here. Appreciate it. Thank you.
So we have a couple more items. I'll read them off, and then I'm going to come down because we have some recognitions and some proclamations. The first one is a recognition to the North Myrtle Beach Pilot Club. I'll come down and read that. And then we have a proclamation to National Public Works Week, and then the proclamation of the National Garden Week, which is actually for the Driftwood Garden Club, Yopon Garden Club, Sea Oaks Garden Club, and North Myrtle Beach Dunes and Bloom's Garden Club. So I'll come down and read those. Anybody here on behalf of the Pilot Club, please come down. Anybody else? Okay. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you so much. Good to see you. Okay. I have to put my glass on here. I didn't quite print this big enough, but. So whereas this North Myrtle Beach Pilot Club has proudly served the North Myrtle Beach community for 31 years through dedicated volunteerism, advocacy, and charitable support. Whereas the Pilot Club's mission is to provide or promote awareness, prevention, and support for brain-related disorders, including Alzheimer's disease, traumatic brain injuries, and autism, improving the quality of life for individuals and families impacted by these conditions. And whereas the North Myrtle Beach Pilot Club has provided meaningful support to numerous organizations and initiatives throughout the community, including the Alzheimer's Association, Coastal Carolina Adaptive Sports, Project Lifesaver, Destination North Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle Beach Rescue Squad, and local caregiver and educational programs. And whereas the organization's work and community dedication, caregiver support, brain injury awareness, and Alzheimer's research funding continues to make a lasting and meaningful impact across the region. And whereas the Pilot Club has demonstrated an enduring commitment to accessibility and inclusion by donating to the city handicap beach wheelchairs for use by residents and visitors in North Myrtle Beach, helping ensure that all individuals can enjoy the beauty of our coastline. And whereas the city of North Myrtle Beach recognizes and appreciates the compassion, leadership, and service demonstrated by the members of the North Myrtle Beach Pilot Club over the past 3 decades. Now, therefore, I, J.O. Baldwin III, Mayor of the City of North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, along with City Council, do hereby recognize honor the North Myrtle Beach Pilot Club for 31 years of outstanding service, dedication, and contributions to our community, and extend sincere gratitude for their continued commitment to improving the lives of residents and visitors alike. Got you. Absolutely. Absolutely. We all come up here and let's get a picture. Okay.
I'll go on the other side.
Okay. Thank you all.
Okay, thank
for
you.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
absolutely. Yes, thank you. Thank you. So now we'll move into a proclamation for the National Public Works Week. Whereas public works professionals provide essential services that support the health, safety, and quality of life for residents and visitors of the city of North Myrtle Beach. And whereas public works employees are responsible for maintaining and improving the infrastructure and services that residents rely on every day, including streets and drainage, stormwater systems, water treatment and water supply, and sanitation. And whereas the dedicated employees of the Public Works Department work year-round, often behind the scenes, and in all types of conditions to ensure the city remains safe, functional, clean, and resilient. And whereas the Public Works staff play a critical role in emergency response and recovery efforts, helping our community to prepare for, respond to, and recover from natural disasters and other emergencies. And whereas Public Works Week, sponsored annually by the American Public Works Association, recognizes the importance of public works services and honors the individuals who plan, build, manage, and maintain the infrastructure that serves our communities. And whereas the 2026 National Public Works theme, Rooted in Service, Powered by Community, recognizes the deep commitment of public works professionals whose visible, behind-the-scene efforts help build, maintain, and strengthen the infrastructure that supports thriving communities and enhances the quality of life for all residents. Now, therefore, I, J.O. Baldwin III, Mayor of the City of North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, along with City Council, do hereby proclaim May 17 through May 23rd, 2026 as National Public Works Week in the city of North Myrtle Beach, and encourage all residents to recognize and thank the Public Works Department whose efforts help keep our community running smoothly each and every day. If anybody...
Mayor Baldwin, just on behalf of the Public Works Department and the 130 or so employees we have, we appreciate your continued support and council's continued support. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, this is a proclamation for each garden club below, or each garden club. Driftwood Garden Club, Yopon Garden Club, Sea Oaks Garden Club, North Myrtle Beach Dunes and Booms Garden Club. Is there people here to accept this? Oh, come on up and gather around. How are you? I'm ready. I'm ready. Hey, how are you? Good. Yes. Hey, Jill, how are you? Good to see you. Good, good. How are you? Good to see you. Wow, we got a big crowd. Yes, yes, anywhere. Son. You gonna be able to get a picture? We'll figure it out.
We are the flower girls.
Thank y'all all for being here. Y'all, this is great. I think that's most people we've had up here that I can remember, but this is good. So, National Garden Week, June 7th through June 13th, 2026. Whereas gardeners demonstrate a deep commitment to cultivating the earth's beauty and resources through the planting of seeds, the careful tending of plants, and the abundance yielded by their efforts. And whereas gardening enriches our lives by adding beauty, splendor, fragrance, and nourishment through the cultivation of herbs, vegetables, foliage, and flowers. And whereas gardeners embody and uphold our nation's enduring spirit of independence, initiative, and innovation through dedication and hard work. And whereas gardeners promote environmental stewardship by recognizing the vital roles of all living creatures, large and small, in maintaining a balanced and thriving ecosystem. And whereas gardening provides a rewarding and meaningful activity for individuals of all ages and experience levels, from beginners to seasoned experts. And whereas gardening encourages healthy lifestyles, reduces stress, and instills appreciation for the value of patience, diligence, and sustained effort. And whereas gardening organizations and gardening clubs, both locally and worldwide, contribute significantly to the beautification and well being of communities in which they serve. And therefore, be it resolved that in an effort to acknowledge the importance of gardening and the numerous contributions of gardeners, I, J.O. Baldwin III, Mayor of the City of North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, along with the North Myrtle Beach City Council, designate the week of June 7th through June 13th, 2026 as National Garden Week. Who wants to hold these, but we'll hold them up and get a picture. Okay, you got it. Okay. I have one more here. Just hold that right there, man. Okay. Oh my goodness. All right, I don't know where to get it. Let me slide it here. Okay, got it?
I cannot see.
Thank you for what you guys do. Jeanette, how you doing there? Good to see you. Okay.
You got
guys do an amazing job. You keep our city looking pretty.
Yes.
That's a crowd.
Okay, we'll move into item E is department monthly reports for 2026 are available online. I'm sorry? What is it? Oh, paperclip, okay. Well, thank you. And now we'll move into item 4, announcements by mayor and council. Are there any announcements by mayor and council?
I'd like to say something real quick. One, I want to congratulate the chief of fire. And two, I'd also like to recognize Dana's department. A lot of people don't realize, and y'all don't normally get the credit you deserve, because with sanitation and public works, until you have a water leak or a major problem like that and see how great our department really is, you really don't realize it. Or if your trash didn't get picked up, you know. So I wanted to thank y'all and thank our police and fire, as I always do. We appreciate all of y'all. That's all I have.
Anybody else? Okay, so we will move into consent agenda, and if it's okay with council, we can take everything, there is one item, or take everything, I can read them by title and take everything together, except for item E. There was something brought up to our attention today with some concerns about item E, even though we've had it's been through the planning commission, first reading, second reading, and through city council, first reading. We got some emails today before the second reading, so it was on the consent agenda, but some concerns came up we might want to talk about, so we'll take that off. If that's okay with council, we'll keep everything else together. Is that okay?
Yep.
Is everybody okay with that?
Yep.
Okay, I'll read them by title. So item A is a motion to approve the Anderson E-Step Surfing Championship to be held on June 6, 2026. Item B is a motion to approve Shepherd Center Day of Adaptive Surfing to be held on June 13, 2026. Item C is a motion to approve North Myrtle Beach Ocean Rescue Junior Lifeguard Camp to be held June 16, 2026 to August 13, 2026. Item D is a resolution to amend the terms for the city's option to extend the parasail and banana boat franchise agreement between the city and Aaron Lewis for additional 5-year term. We will skip item E and move to item F. Is ordinance second reading amendment to the Pepper Tree Ocean Club Planned Development District, PDD, allowing additional building signage. Item G is an ordinance amendments to Chapter 23 zoning of the Code of Ordinances of North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, adding place of worship to be allowed and allowed uses in R2A. Item H is an ordinance second reading amendment to Chapter 23 zoning of the Code of Ordinances of North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, correcting terms for the Board of Zoning Appeals. And item I is ordinance second reading amendments to Chapter 23 zoning of the Code of Ordinances of North Myrtle Beach, codifying staggered terms for the Planning Commission. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion by council?
I think the only question I had was on the 5A and 5B. The only thing I noticed was the parking. They wanted to make sure that they were allowed to park in public parking, and I just wanted to know how that was going to be, how we were tracking that. both of them said they're requesting free use of the parking lot for the organizers, the first 2 rows of parking spaces. How are we gonna know that they're okay to park there?
Ron, is anybody from staff here that can address that?
Okay, you already let the parking company, okay.
Oh, so I'm sorry, Matt, what did you say? Oh, you'll let the parking companies know so that they'll be allowed to park, okay.
Thank you.
So I think everything's kind of self-explanatory, but is there any comment from the public? Any concerns, comments, questions? Hearing none, we'll take our vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. All against? Ayes have it. We'll move into, still on the consent agenda, we'll bring up item E, ordinance, second reading amendment to the towers on the Grove Plan Development District, PDD, creating an oceanfront paid parking lot. And I'll need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve, and I'd like to,
Second.
once we get into it, I've like to amend it.
Yes, absolutely. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's a motion, a second. We'll bring it up, and I think Jim, is going to elaborate on the concerns here.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, thank you. As you know, this is second reading in front of council, and at the sort of the last minute, we had some correspondence from a resident of the adjoining Mid-Strand condo HPR that's over here. And they brought up some very excellent points that to consider about this parking proposal. And so staff has been working all morning and afternoon trying to come up with a solution for their concerns. And one of the things they expressed was that they felt that the location of the porta-johns was probably not ideal, because then that would be something that their condo project would have to look out on. So we're advising the applicant to move those to this corner over here to get it away from Mid-Strand condos. And the applicant has agreed to make that change, so that will resolve that issue. They also further suggested that it would be useful to have a landscape buffer along this edge of there's the public walkway right here, the public access point. And to accomplish that, we would take this row of parking spaces right here that are standard full-size parking spaces and allow those to be converted to compact car parking spaces. That would give us 4 feet along this edge that a landscape buffer could be planted with native salt-tolerant species. So we think that that's a very useful thing, for a good suggestion by them. The other thing they could express concern about is on their project, they have a foot wash station. They have a fence along here with a gate, and the gate has a sign on it that says private property, no trespassing, but still, evidently, according to them, they've had instances in the past where people have gone onto their private property to use their foot wash station, and for people that don't belong there. I sent some photographs earlier today to you, and one of the photographs showed that the existing foot wash station is approximately 20 to 30 feet away from that fence line. But in order to make sure that that concern gets addressed and that we don't have any further intrusion onto their property, I would recommend having a sign placed right here where that little pedestrian access funnel is that get people from the parking lot to the public access point. Put a sign on there that directs people using the parking lot that they have the right to use the foot wash station that's located near the gazebo on Towers of the Grove. So that will help allay that situation. Another question that came up was, what does temporary mean in terms of the approval? And the applicant has indicated that they have a 2-year lease agreement worked out with the property owner. And what we've done in some temporary parking lots in the past is that we have issued a time limit on the approval. So I recommend, if that is a concern by council, that you can put a time limit on this approval, and and if they want to extend that lease to another term, they would have to come back to council and ask for another amendment to make sure that everything is still good. And that would open that up to the public. And whatever date that you establish, I put on your suggested motion September 30th of 2028. That gives them 2 years and a few months. And then if that date is acceptable to the applicant, and the applicant is here and to answer any further questions. And so if that date is acceptable, then I would advise the applicant to reapply for approval if they want to do an extension approximately 3 months before that expiration, so to give it time to work through the process. So we really appreciate the comments that we got from the folks at Mid-Strand. They were excellent comments, and we're happy to work with them. And I believe you also got a late email from them saying that they appreciated our, taking their concerns seriously, and they were in favor of those changes.
Yeah, they did. They sent an email, thank staff, thank the applicant, thank council members for addressing their concerns. And I spoke to the HOA president this afternoon before she sent that final email. And in that final email, there was only one request. She was pleased with everything as long as the applicant's okay with everything we just discussed. There was one tree she wanted to save. I don't know where that stands, but I saw that about 15 minutes before I walked in this room. So.
Yeah, we'll certainly work that out to make sure that happens when we get the revised plan. So, being that this is an amendment to the PDD, it'll still have to go through site plan approval and TRC. So when it does that, we'll make sure that all of those changes are made before the final approval is given.
And there was a small tree, there's not any other trees on the side, it's all vacant. Yeah, but anyway.
I feel sure we can work that out.
Okay, all right. And I'd like to ask the applicant, are you okay with all these changes? Because we're going to amend the motion to include these.
Well, I'm fine with it. On the beach side here, we've got a beautiful wooden fence that we were going to straighten up, which I think is very nice. I can close off that beach access right there because that's our gazebo, and we have a beach access with a shower and everything, so we can eliminate that. Those porta-johns there are going to be there just during our peak of the season, and I've got it there for the women and the kids. The men too, but mainly for the kids. So, let's not forget, I mean, they could build a 20-story building on here. So would those guys want a 20-story building or just a parking lot?
I understand.
They're happy. So for a 2-year lease, he was hoping to keep it as a parking lot and then eventually build on it. So, and they were even talking about leaving it as overflow parking, which if that's the case, you got 24 hours a day, someone's going to be there. I think one of the concerns was, will it be parking overnight? It is a 24-hour parking lot. All my parking lots, very rarely you get somebody that stays overnight. They don't want to spend $45 to stay overnight. So, but the only way we're going to make this work is make that economy parking. Then I guess so be it.
Okay. Okay.
Are you saying you're going to close off this?
Yeah, I don't need that. I mean,
okay.
Listen, that beach access. It's very rarely used.
Right.
From what I've seen.
So you would just
our property line actually goes right in the middle of that beach access. Our fence is actually probably about maybe 3 or 4 foot from the property line. So what we were going to do was right around 16, 17, 18, 19, we were just going to clean that up really nice and just bring the fence to match the front fence right there, which will keep that real private from over there. So.
Is that a dedicated public access?
This access is a public access. I think he's talking about closing off the little funnel that goes from the parking lot to that access.
But I'm hoping that our fence right there is nicely done, that would help, so we would save the cost in doing whatever type of shrubbery you're wanting us to put in there.
Well, the residents expressed a concern that the shrubbery, if there were a landscape buffer planted there, it would also help keep dust down from migrating.
There's not going to be dust
there.
in there. This is going to be a 57-stone parking lot, so we're not going to have this dust plume that you're seeing at some of the parking lots in town. We're not going to have that. My parking lot in the end of Seat Mountain Highway, you never see that dust flying around my lot, ever.
But regardless,
Yeah.
we're talking about a landscape buffer here, and I think that's important.
There's an existing split rail fence that runs down
That's right,
this
all the way
line.
down, all the way down, yeah.
Some of it is a little bit in disrepair.
We're
There are
gonna fix
sections
that.
that are
We're gonna
broken.
clean that up, straighten that up. We're gonna have some more on the other side that we can use, and I can close off that beach access right there.
So the folks at Midstrand did express, one of their concerns they expressed was that they thought that this would increase the usage of this public beach access if it were done that way. So that, closing that piece off right there would help with that concern as well. And I feel sure they would probably be in favor of that.
Okay. Are there any other comments by council?
Just one to the applicant. Would you rather lose 25, 26, and 27 and go back to 9 by 19 on 16 through 24?
I'm sorry, say again?
I said, would you rather lose 25, 26, and 27 and go back to a standard 9 by 19 on 16 through 24, which means you'd probably lose a space there. So you're losing 4 spaces, but you're getting you're getting the balance
You
of
know
regular
what?
spaces.
And let me say is that plan is, that's not the updated plan.
You like that? If you like that, I'm fine.
Yeah, I shipped that over. Yeah, you may want this, brother. This is the updated plan right here. I said that gave it to Dawn the other day. So our interest is gonna be right here. So we're gonna eliminate all of this right here. We only got four parking spots right here. Yeah, I gave that to Dawn on Friday or Thursday or Friday. We're gonna come through this entrance right here because if I come through here, we were gonna have to widen the driveway, which in that case I have to go in front of DOT and fight with Lindsay and all that kind of crazy stuff. And then we'd have a problem with Santee Cooper with their pole being right at the entrance at our, so we came down here. And I sent that memo from Santee Cooper saying this is, we can take cars across that vault.
I have not seen that plan that he's referencing that he sent to Dawn. I don't know if Dawn has seen it, but it is significantly different
Well,
from.
we would not be able to pass a new plan
No,
at this point
We
in
have not
time.
had-
We've been through the planning commission, we've been through
Right.
one reading on city council. I know you're anxious to get this done, but we can't change a plan at the last minute.
No, it needed, everybody went through it, and even Public Works, everybody said we're good with it, so, with the new plan. I mean, all we're doing is we just switched the driveway over, but everybody, all the emails I got said everybody was fine with it, so. And like I said, I brought it over to Dawn on Thursday or Friday, and,
Dana, do you know if y'all have seen the new plan?
We've seen the new plan, it's a better layout, but it hasn't gone back to TRC.
Yeah. This is the first I'm seeing it. But
Does it eliminate any parking places, or is it the same amount?
it appears to have
There's 27.
33 parking spaces as opposed to 27.
27.
Yeah.
yep, but the help the folks on the left side over here, they've only got 4 parking spots that are gonna be up against their property line.
Yeah.
Jim, let me ask a question.
Okay.
If, being that this is what's already been approved by Planning Commission, and we've already had one reading on it,
Yeah.
what are the pluses and minuses of us tabling this till we can, where y'all can have a chance to review that, and we can take a look at it, and we table it to our, I'm not sure exactly when our next meeting is, but I mean, or if we may.
It's a
if we need-
significantly different
June
plan
first.
with more parking spaces than were shown, and I have not had time, nor has the TRC to vet this plan and evaluate it. So I can't recommend going forward with it tonight until that happens. But
But
you
let's say that we even took it to a workshop or we didn't pass it tonight. With a new plan, does it not have to go back through the whole system? Go back to the planning commission and back through?
I'll have to.
Chris, could you answer that?
Chris, and please get the microphone if you can, please.
Yeah.
Chris, can you get that microphone? Thank you.
My question to Jim was, this is an amendment to the PDD, and Jim indicated that it was, and this will be a major amendment?
Yes, this parking layout that was considered by the Planning Commission and at first reading at council is a major amendment to the PDD. And I am now seeing this change revised plan for the first time, and it is significantly different from this. So the question, I believe, is should this go back to the Planning Commission, or can council just approve the revised plan at second reading?
Procedurally, what about going back to advertising, back to planning commission, then advancing to city council?
I think the city council could probably refer it back to Planning Commission as opposed to having to re-advertise it as a new application.
I agree with that.
The question is the change significant enough to warrant that? And it's pretty different.
And well, it sounds like you're of the opinion that it is significant enough to warrant the referral back to the planning commission.
I do think that.
Yeah. So I think that's the answer, that it would, council would have to refer it back to the planning commission, and then it would come back from the planning commission to city council. And what's the timeline in getting that done?
Well, Planning Commission meets tomorrow, so it can't be on that agenda, but it could be on the next Planning Commission meeting, because it would not have to be re-advertised. It's just referred back to them.
I mean, I would ask the applicant, would you want us to refer it back, or you want us to vote on the old plan you submitted?
You asking me?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I mean, I'd like to get this approved and then let us come back in, because I'm not sure what happened, where the ball got dropped, but some of the emails that I received, they liked the new plan, so I don't know. But since you didn't see it, and a couple other ones maybe didn't see it, I mean.
What we could do is table it and then let staff go through the process and recommend and talk to you and discuss the options.
I mean,
after
I think,
this meeting.
Right, I got you. I mean, and you can't answer this question probably right now, but I mean, I think to me, that's a better looking plan, and I'm glad we are coming off on that left side over there with the 50-foot entrance right there. These folks should be real happy with the fact there's only 4 parking spots and not 18, or whatever it is, 12, 15 over there. So, yeah, but whatever you guys think. But I would like to try to get this thing passed and get it by June 1st, but I don't really mean that's going to happen now.
Unfortunately, with a change of plans, we can't have a second reading on, if we pass this, it's the old plans. So this has to go.
We can't do this plan.
Okay.
Because Dan said at Public Works, he did not like the entrance right there, over on that side right there. So
I got you.
Yeah, we had to make a change. Yeah.
And look, Jim, what I'm thinking is we table this, get staff to try to go through what the options are, talk to the applicant, and then let us know back and try to expedite this if we can. But whatever, the options are, let the applicant know, and then he can make that decision, get back to us.
Yeah, and unless Chris disagrees, I would recommend that you refer it back to the table it for tonight and refer it back to the Planning Commission, and then bring it back at the next possible meeting.
Okay, all right.
And to expedite matters, if council chooses, you could always have a special call meeting to accommodate the.
Sure, we could, and we could do that. We could have a special call meeting to try to help expedite it. Are there any other comments by council? Are there any comments by the public? Okay.
We got a
Motion
need a motion by council.
I'll make a motion that we refer this back to the Planning Commission to review the revised plan, and that which will give staff opportunity to see at what level, whether it goes across the threshold to where it needs to be re-advertised or not. But that'll get you going there as quick as we can through the process. And that you would also take into consideration the changes consideration how they work into that plan that staff has talked about, as regarding the porta-johns, and a lot of this might be a moot point with your new plan, but the porta-johns, the stall, those parking stalls, the size of them may not be an issue, may or may not be. The 4-foot landscape buffer between the public walkway and the stalls, the If you take out the access to the public walkway, then the sign would be a kind of a moot point. But if you don't, then we'd want to see that. And that we would do this for a period of 2 years, expiring on September 30th of 2028. And like Jim said, ideally you would, just because the way the process, the way the law works and the process works, that, you know, you start that renewal about 3 months in advance.
I know, when my lease is up, I know Casey's gonna want to keep going with it, so.
Mark, please speak in the microphone. I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying, if my lease, you know, look, I'm 58. I'd love to have this for 20 more years. I'm good with that. But, you know, Casey, you know, once Casey sees the money that's rolling through there, he's gonna probably take it back over in 2 years. Okay? I mean, he said, I'm gonna, you know, the reason to build a 20-story building, I'm fine with the income I'm getting off of this, so, you know.
Well, I understand. We're trying to
it's all-
accommodate
we're-
you,
we're
but
just-
we got a switch here that we can't prove something we hadn't seen.
No, I know, and I don't know what happened, but, yeah, I don't know I don't know what happened there.
I don't either, but we'll find out.
Well, if this new plan was submitted Thursday or Friday of last week, that is not sufficient time for
I
staff to
understand.
evaluate
No,
it.
you
And
got it
we
in the
would
agenda,
want
that's
to
why it's
refer
not-
it back to the TRC anyway.
Sure. I understand. Okay, thank you so much.
So I'll give Suzanne or who do I call tomorrow? Okay, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Ayes have it. All against? Okay, ayes have it. So we will move into unfinished business. Item A is an ordinance second reading, amendment to the Gator Hole Plan Development District PDD, revising the TGI Friday site to a new Chick-fil-A site. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any comment by council?
Yeah, I do. On that, I know we talked about some signage to help people get out of there, but I'd like, if possible, to see at the, pardon me, at the intersection of Dieter Lane and Second Avenue North, that there'd be a sign, you know, directing people back to 17. Because by the time you get down there, if you go around and get by Walmart and get down in there, you're kind of looking at a residential neighborhood on one side and another on the other side. Might be a little bit difficult but somebody may get spun around up in there. And I don't know if that would be ideal to do the same thing where it hits on 8th.
Is
The
is
sign
the
would
applicant
say,
here that could come up and speak about this?
Brad, are you talking about a sign that says beach this way,
Just
17?
Highway 17 would probably be, you know, an ideal scenario. And I think it not only would be good for you, but it would also be good for, you know, everybody else in the whole shopping center. You know, we were out walking last night and I was walking through, I said, man, this kind of, as you kind of walk down through here, it'd be easy to get disorientated and try and figure that out.
Yeah, I believe the landlord is okay with us adding the signage that we need. They've given us preliminary approval for that, and Interplan is watching right now, and so we'll make a note of that and make sure we add that to the sign package. So I think it's a great idea.
I will say that we've had 2 meetings on this and a workshop, and the applicant we had a lot of concerns on this situation for a long time, and I believe the applicants, I feel good about it. I feel better about it, a lot better than we did to begin with. And they're also, the DOT median plan is making changes that will enhance this, including potentially, but this is not cast in stone yet, but would eliminate that right turn at that stoplight, which would help increase the outflow traffic out tremendously, heading back towards 17 on that left-hand turn that's going to accommodate, I believe, about 11 cars. Are there any other comments by council?
I have a few comments that I'd like to make. One, we had some concerns with the traffic, including myself in that area. And one of the concerns was what Walmart has going on right now with the remodel. It's not an actual addition outside of their footprint. It's a remodel inside of their building right now to accommodate online orders. And they've got a lot of their parking lot blocked off right now for construction, but I would feel pretty confident by the time this came online and the Chick-fil-A was finished that Walmart would be well and past their remodel of what they're doing, and the parking lot would be back open. So I don't think that would be too much of a concern. Another thing that I would like to bring up is that we do have a lot of other commercial elements going on outside of our city. We've got a Walmart going up right outside Calabash. So you got Little River and Brunswick beaches that are not going to be coming to Gator Hole anymore to go to that Walmart, because it's going to be a lot more convenient for them to stay in Little River and go that direction. And we do have a lot of commercial element going on out around the park that will keep people west side of the waterway shopping and the retail on that side. So my hope is, as time goes on, that Gator Hole Plaza, the traffic will start to die down some and relieve some of that area. So I just wanted to say that.
Are there any other comments by council? Are there any comments by the public? Please give your name and address.
Debbie Lombardino, 309 49th Avenue North. I know you've addressed the Walmart issue here, but I guess I don't understand your process here. If I have a project going on and you've already approved me to do something else with the project, and then I come back to you and ask to do something else, you don't include what I did the first time. How is that permissible? I'm asking the staff.
Well, this is not really a question and a Q&A. You know, what we're doing is we want input. You have suggestions or...
Yeah,
or
but what
something.
I'm saying is you're avoiding, you've already approved something for Walmart, and you're totally not even considering what you've already approved, and you're going to approve something else without taking what you've approved previously. I mean, how is that permissible?
Well, these are two different businesses. I mean, it might be in the same shopping center, but it's two different businesses altogether. And Walmart has been doing online shopping forever. They're just putting space inside their building to accommodate it. They just have some storage stuff outside of Walmart right now. They're blocking off of construction equipment. They're not expanding their footprint. And we've discussed that the traffic's going to be lower, as we just brought up, because of the additional Walmarts.
You're assuming the traffic's going to be lower.
Well, it will be, because a lot of traffic that comes there now is from Little River and Brunswick County.
But your signage that they're proposing, and I'm just talking about process. I don't have a problem with Chick-fil-A at all. But the signage they're putting at is taking them to Dietrich, which is in front of where Walmart is improving. Okay, so, I mean, I guess what I don't understand is I have a piece of property and I come to you and I say, I want to do this change. And then I come to you and say, I want to do another change. And you don't take in consideration what you've already previously approved. That's what I'm not understanding here.
Well, I get back to, these are two different businesses. We're not approving something
but
from
it's
Walmart.
the same development. It's a
But the
PDD.
shopping center didn't come to us. The Walmart did and Chick-fil-A did. They're
Correct.
two separate entities. They just happen to be in the same shopping center.
The same location.
Right. That would be like saying if somebody wanted to come into TGI Fridays, forget about Chick-fil-A, it's somebody brand new, they wanted to come in, we would say, no, I'm sorry, you can't come in because Walmart's doing a addition.
No, I'm just saying you should have considered what you approved for Walmart in the study. That's all I'm saying. Why is it not part of what you looked at
I think
to
partly-
approving it?
Speaking for myself, I did, when we did when I looked at the Walmart change, when we did that back, I don't know whether a year ago, 18
In
months ago.
October of 2025.
When we did that, or when I voted on that and chose on it, I recognized that this was, what Walmart did affected the Walmart shoppers and didn't spill outside of that envelope. And today, so I feel like it's okay. And when I made my decision to move forward on that, it's because it was contained within their Walmart perimeter. It didn't spill over there to the parking lot across the road. And then now that we've got Chick-fil-A, Walmart's settled, in my opinion, and it wasn't, for me, taken into consideration. Now this issue with the Chick-fil-A came up, and it took a lot of discussion, because I had a lot of reservations about it, but at the end of the day, it appears, or more than appears, I think it's going to be a good move, because the impact of what's happening in North Carolina is going to have an impact. The Little River folks on the north side of Little River definitely aren't going to come this way. They're going to go that way, because that's a lot less traffic. So I think I feel confident for myself that we're not damaging, I'm not damaging
Okay.
North Myrtle Beach
Well,
or the
again,
residents.
my question has to deal with how you approve one thing for a property. It's a PDD. And you don't take that in consideration when you do something else. That's my issue, is why is that not considered in your proposal? It could have easily been included in here, but it wasn't, is all I'm saying on this, okay? Okay.
Mayor, if I could, I would just want to remind council of what happened with the Walmart proposal.
Okay.
All they did is they took an existing garden area where they used to set up the Christmas trees and the live plants in that enclosed fenced area. And what they did is they enclosed just under 5,000 square feet of that area to give employees a place to process online orders.
I understand.
And they restriped some of the parking lot a little bit. And what they ended up doing was, in that restriping, they lost a total of 2 parking spaces, but they were already 266 parking spaces over the requirement. So they lost 2 parking spaces, but they gained 1 handicap space. And then they increased the number of stalls dedicated for customer pickup of online orders from 18 to 33 in the restriping. So it was an incredibly insignificant change to the Walmart, and it was a type of change that would just allow employees to process online orders. It wasn't adding retail square footage to Walmart that would draw in additional customers.
Yes, thank you, Jim, for clarifying that. Are there any other comments by the public regarding this issue? Hearing none, we'll take our vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All against? Ayes have it. We'll move on to item B I'm sorry. Yeah, item B is an ordinance second reading amendment to the Hope Point Plan Development District PDD, replacing the previously approved townhomes along Sanctuary Way with detached cottage-style homes, and the petitioner has requested to postpone. So do I have a motion to postpone?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any comments by council? Are there any comments by the public? Hearing none, we'll take our vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All against? Ayes have it. We'll move into item C. Is an ordinance second reading amendments to Chapter 11, Fire Prevention, Section 11-9 of the Code of Ordinances of North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina regarding open burning. Do I have a motion to approve?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any comments by council? So, this is first reading. Does anybody want to describe what this is about? Ryan, you want to take that, just so everybody knows, understands?
So this was before council, and it was postponed because there's a little disagreement amongst the fire department in terms of certain wording. They wanted to clean it up a little bit. So that was a couple months ago. It's now before you for first reading, but essentially it just prohibits open burning within the city limits.
Okay,
Would be the main
I understand.
issue.
I got you. I recalled that somewhat, but not exactly. So are there any comments by council?
Looks good. I mean, it reads a lot cleaner and makes a lot more sense. And I like the definition of a homemade burn barrel would not be acceptable.
Are there any comments by the public? Hearing none, we'll take our vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. All against? Ayes have it. So we'll move into item D is the ordinance first reading amendments to chapter 22 vehicles for hire of the Code of Ordinances of North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina regarding towing and private property. And I would like to turn this over to Mayor Pro Tem Thomas because, and I'd like to recuse myself because I have a potential conflict because somebody reached out to me about a week ago and I have a piece of property that could potentially, they would like to potentially lease that would be conducive to this same type of business. So I do not want to vote on this. I would just to avoid any potential appearance of a conflict. So I'll recuse myself and turn it over to our Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I'll be glad to take this on. On the, did you read the title? It's the unfinished business or first reading amendment to Chapter 22 vehicles for hire of the Code of Ordinance of North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina regarding towing from private property. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second. Second, okay. Is there any discussion by council?
I'll be happy to jump in there. We've heavily workshopped this item, but I would like to just do a quick, so everybody in the audience that wasn't involved kind of knows what's going on. So a few years back, we revisited the tow fee schedule and decided to meet the state fee sheet, which made sense because they do the research to see what it costs to operate and do these standard tows. And at the last minute, some things got changed. Didn't really realize what was going on. Should ask questions. I didn't, but we moved forward past it. A little while later, had somebody reach out to me asking if we would revisit it, and I, of course, looked into it. And not only did that, called other tow companies. Didn't just go off of the one tow company, and all of them pretty much said, "Yeah, we would be more involved if it was, the fee was worth the liability." So then I knew that it was time to start really digging into it a little bit, and that's kind of the gist of it, is how we've got to where we are today.
Any other comments?
Well, this is concerning towing on private property. Then they already have a relationship with the company they're going to tow. It's not the city towing the car. This is hotel owners that people park in their parking and go to the beach. And there's signs that clearly state, we're going to tow you if you park here. And in the past, I think we've had a heavy hand in having to be on location. And now we're kind of are taking that out of it, that we're not going to show up. And we'll see how this works out. And if it becomes an issue, then we can, of course, always revisit it. The only couple of things that I had is that there's something about like has to have a contact person. So if I've already given you permission to tow and you come to my lot to tow somebody privately at 4 a.m, you're going to wake me up to tell me you're going to tow a car I've already given you permission to tow. If I read that right, if I'm reading it wrong, and you can tell me. And then I had a bit of a question about the credit card.
So, I mean, the two things are, yeah, I mean, we have it written so that, as Trey said in the past, we had our police officers would go out there to kind of make sure that the whole process went smoothly and everyone was on the same page and it was done according with our regulations that we had in place. One of those things being that the tows, when we're out there to tow, it's because that specific vehicle has been requested by the owner or the representative of the owner saying, we want this vehicle towed. So we're not changing that part. We're saying that we still require authorization from the owner and or the owner's representative saying they want it towed. That way we're not leaving these towing companies to just go around towing whoever they believe needs to be towed. It's got to be at the request of the owners. So we have not taken that out. What we have taken out is our involvement. Police officers going out there to make sure that process goes smoothly, because that is what's been requested of council. So we've taken that out. And then in lieu of us being involved, we've now put it in place, much like I believe Myrtle Beach does it, or a county does it. They're still required to fill up, get the signatures that that we required before, they're not going to be required to give it to us every time. I think within 24 hours, I believe is how we wrote it, they'd have to provide that, that authorization form, proving that they got the signature within 24 hours. But what we will do is we'll have the ability to audit them at any time to say, let's go back in time, show us everything with all these various tows that you called in to make sure that you did do it according with our regulations. And if they are unable to do so, then we're in a position where we can fine them. So it's as long as they're doing and operating in compliance with our regulations, that shouldn't be a problem. So instead of us doing it on the front end, being there, being present for that interaction, we're going to give ourselves the ability to do it on the back end. And this doesn't shouldn't be a hindrance for their operations, which is what I believe that they have.
I know during our workshop, we had some of the HOA members come up that did express concerns with the agent on record or the homeowner themselves because of the different time restraints. And then, I mean, you've got this is all private property owner business. If there is normally a situation, this would go to the magistrate's court. So that part kind of, I don't really understand why we're getting so involved there. And I've got a couple things jotted down. One is, and I'm jumping all over the place, but the signage, they're asking to have metal signs on the ocean front is where most of these properties are. So I would think that they would rust pretty quickly. Most of the time you have a composite sign. So I don't know if that's something that we can change in
Well,
the
I think
ordinance.
in the old ordinance, and even this ordinance, it says metal, which is number section 2246A1, is just strike the metal, because I don't know that the intent was for it to be metal, because it is, rent signs, everything. You don't see many metal signs out there, so I think that's just a old carryover that we can fix right now. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I agree with you on that.
Yeah, and I was just looking at that when I was reading through the ordinance.
I mean, I think the intent was mostly the size, like make sure the size is consistent. I don't think we necessarily have a real interest in what material is used to create the sign.
Well,
So,
I get it, but
yeah.
that's, what's in the ordinance.
Yeah, we can strike it.
So let me just, for clarification, currently, the rep, with either the homeowner at a private residence or a rep for an association, they would contact the towing company. That takes place right now, right? The representative still is currently the way it works today.
Correct.
And what we're saying, we're maintaining that into this new ordinance.
Correct.
And now in 2246B, paragraph 1, it says, the record service shall not block the exit of a vehicle from a parking lot or begin the act of coupling vehicles until after the private owner or agent of record has written the time of the towing and then signed a fully executed authorization for removal within 30 minutes prior to towing. And I'm okay with that. I'm just thinking, if they could digitally, the person that's making the call, if we could encourage them to digitally do that, that way the towing company's got a record of it. Then later on in 5, in compliance with South Carolina Code 56.525.25, wrecker service performing a non-consensual tow shall immediately telephone the police department no later than 1 hour of the time of the tow as set forth by the property owner of record. There again, if they do that within 1 hour, then they can attach potentially if the person that made the call, the homeowner.
So I think it shows up in two places. And Dana?
Right, and
Chris,
therefore.
so one is that you have to notify dispatch, because naturally someone who comes, if they come and they park and they are ignorant that they did anything wrong, they park and they come out and their car's missing, we need to have an accounting of whose car's been towed for what reason. So when they call dispatch, say, my car's been stolen, we can say, no, it's been towed. But we're not asking at that point for the signed authorization. We're saying you have 24 hours and able to give us that information showing that you've.
It's one. He's correct. It's one.
An hour seems like a long
Yeah,
time, though.
that was my note.
That's state law.
Okay.
That's, I mean, we could make that a shorter time frame, but that's state law gives them 1 hour to notify us.
Well, that's pretty prompt. And that way you've got a record of it. So when the people call, somebody stole my car, you can look, I guess, and then let them know it's been towed.
My mind is like, you know, if you pulled in somewhere, you go in there for check in, go to dinner, whatever, and you come back out, and if it happened to be quickly, if you went in and said, oh, the wait line's too long, we're going to go somewhere else and eat, you know, it seems like that hour would be a long, long time trying to figure out what's going on. And in the meantime, folks in dispatch are trying to figure out what's going on and sending an officer out there for it. But I understand if it's the state law, I guess it's the state law.
Yeah, we could make that more stringent. We couldn't make it less stringent. Does that make sense? But we are trying to, in June, after we get through bike weeks, to work with the tow companies to use an electronic program that they're using. And hopefully, you guys tell me you already use it. That would be something that we would be able to get almost instantaneously when they're on scene. That would be something we would electronically be able to get in our dispatch center. So I've already stopped by and met with them to see if it's something that we can make happen. And we're going to try the first week of June to get together. And then that would alleviate this problem altogether.
Well, it would alleviate the audit problem as well. You wouldn't have to come back and go through paperwork. You would just instantaneously get the towing notification through dispatch. You would also be able to audit it much quicker to see who's been
Hopefully,
towed
we're going
and
to try it out. Hopefully. Yeah.
So with the towing signs, so they have a sign up. So if a tow truck drives by and there's a car parked in a parking place that does not have a tag for the hotel, they cannot tow them unless the owner of the hotel or the HOA person calls them?
Not with this ordinance, no.
Okay. So what would be the purpose of the signs? If,
Notify you talking about the outside, the signage for the.
yeah, I mean, it
public?
notifies them that they're going to be towed, but if they can't be towed unless the owner calls, well, if the owner doesn't live there, the owner's never going to know someone parked there. I thought the purpose of the towing sign was that you're going to be towed if you park here.
And you don't have to contact.
Yeah,
no one
you
has
don't have
be
to contact
contacted.
anybody. I mean, I
They
would
already
want,
have a contract.
if I have a contract with a towing company and I say, you tow anybody that's parked in my parking spots without a tag, I want them towed. I don't want you calling me at 4 o'clock in the morning to ask my permission.
Oh, I understand.
Well, unfortunately, we had a lot of bad experiences with that in that scenario, and that's how we got to where we are in the original ordinance. And you know, like most of our ordinances, they tend to be a work in progress, and we have to, you know, from time to time go back and adjust and fine tune. And this is more of an adjustment than a rewrite, I would say. Trying to find some balance between with everybody, and you know, we do have it being in a high tourism area that we heavily rely on. You know, we need to be very situationally aware of our guests and
So the ordinance doesn't change that portion. This rewrite doesn't change that portion. What changes predominantly is you don't have a physical policeman on site.
Exactly.
And secondly, is now the towing company is going to notify you within an hour that a vehicle's been towed.
That was already there. Prior to law enforcement being on scene. When law enforcement was on scene, it removed the necessity for that.
Gotcha.
So we're just going back to what the ordinance said prior to us changing it. I thought that we were going to remove law enforcement because you guys didn't want to tie up officers dealing with towing issues. But we consulted other municipalities, Myrtle Beach, What we've presented to you is what they currently use to prevent people from being victimized by companies. So we thought that this was the best solution to meet our needs as a city, but also allow the tow companies to be able to tow without having to wait on law enforcement, because that was the complaint was that our arrival time was taking too long. So we felt like if we removed law enforcement, if there's a person calling saying we would like this towed from our property, then that not having to wait on us would be able to expedite that tow, but also keep it legitimate.
Okay.
Well, and I'm not going against, and please believe me, I'm not going against y'all, but, one, I think our police officers' time is much more valuable than dealing with private tow businesses. The other part, as a council member, I think one of my jobs for our city is to look out for liability of our city. And this, with being private property tows that really we shouldn't be involved in at all, really puts liability on our city. And we're fortunate we haven't gotten there with anything, because they're pulling $80,000, $60,000 cars out of places they're not supposed to be parked. Similar situation that fortunately the county doesn't directly insert themselves in, but a local tow company was called by a business owner to tow a car that was left at a gas station overnight. It took 2.5 years to go through the court process. If this had happened in the city of North Myrtle Beach, most likely if we couldn't have gotten out of the process immediately, we would have been stuck in that process for 2.5 years. And I'm feel pretty confident that we would have got out of it, but sitting in that process for 2.5 years, the money that adds up over time is what my concern would be in a situation that we shouldn't even be in the middle of. So that also is a part of what has me want to address this situation.
When our officers show up on scene, they are frequently told by tow truck drivers, if I'm not towing vehicles, I'm not making money. So when someone is, basically their paycheck comes from how many vehicles they're towing, just remember that that's setting a quota for them to get out and tow as many vehicles as they possibly can. And so that's not just meeting a need of, that's
I understand, but once again, though, it's private property that has signage that says, don't park on this property. So, I mean, at the end of the day, they're not supposed to be there. And if I'm a property owner that has a motel and has limited spaces for my tenants, and somebody else is parked there, and now my tenant doesn't have a place to stay when they come to check in, that's a problem as well. So,
but what we were experiencing before were people that were supposed to be staying there, and maybe their ticket fell you could look through the window and the ticket is on their floorboard, or it's on their dash, it's not hanging, and that vehicle's getting towed and the person's supposed to be there. So they get up for breakfast in the morning, their vehicle's gone, but they were illegally. But so someone who worked for that hotel would have known that vehicle was supposed to be here. The tow truck driver doesn't know, and whether they take the time to actually look to see if there is a tag in the vehicle, or if they just walk up and say, oh, it's not in the rearview. Their interest is to tow as many vehicles as they can,
right.
Whether it's legitimately or not.
Okay.
Any other questions by council? If not, I'd like to.
I do have one more. So I had another person reach out to me concerned about requiring the credit cards. So don't make fun of me, but of course I went to ChatGPT and Google and all that and put in different scenarios, and some of them said we couldn't, then others, when you specifically asked about tow companies, said you could. So I rely on Chris Nuri to answer that for me, please, since I'm not an attorney.
Municipalities in South Carolina do have the ability to pass legislation for the health, safety, and welfare of the public. In this instance, that's what this ordinance contains. It requires that the towing operators be able to process payment digitally, electronically, whatever the correct term is, for people that don't have cash. Because otherwise, if they don't accept digital payment or electronic payment, and someone doesn't have cash, and most people don't carry cash nowadays, they're going to be required to pay the full tow fee as opposed to half of the full tow fee for the no tow fee. And there's language in the ordinance that addresses this specifically. If you'll look at the very first page under 2244, non-consensual towing, there is language that states one of the reasons the city is passing this. And it says, "The city will exercise its public safety powers to ensure that the public security, general welfare, health, and order of the city are adequately protected from price gouging and unscrupulous towing operators." So we do have the authority in our general police powers to require mobile payment. Other municipalities around the state have the same requirement or similar requirement in their ordinance as well.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
When someone uses their credit card, and I'm just speaking from a banker here, but do you pass through the credit card expenses to the client or the person being towed when they use their credit card? Or do you give them a discount when they use cash? How does that work?
Like a 3% additional charge, that we're leaving up to the towing operators.
Okay.
We're not getting into that aspect of it.
So we can't cap it where if they do charge that fee, they're able to charge that if
No,
they.
we did not anticipate any kind of cap on that.
Okay.
And that's fundamentally someone who comes out to their vehicle prior to it actually being towed away. Then the no tow fee kicks in where they can pay half, take their car and go, as opposed to having to go through the whole process, pay the whole fee, and go wherever it gets towed to. And so you can avoid that inconvenience. To say it's just cash only, I don't know about you, but I don't really carry cash around with me. Most people don't at this point. It's just more convenient, and it's to say we don't accept anything other than cash. Well, that person is then, if they don't have the ability to get to an ATM or they don't have cash in their car or on their person, then they're not gonna have the luxury to choose the option of paying half and just taking their vehicle.
I think one of the issues from one of the towing companies that mentioned when they do take a credit card, the person they're towing usually is not the happiest camper when they're getting towed, and they go back to the credit card company or the bank and say that wasn't them that was using the credit card or it was fraud, and then they have to spend their time trying to figure out how to dispute that, how to get their money back, and then they're spinning their wheels trying to get it. So I think that was really one of the bigger issues of accepting those credit cards, and then really who's going to pay them then if they do get that fee taken back from them because it's fraud.
And I understand that. I think what we're looking at is for the interest of those folks that we've seen video footage where they are put in that position, and because they just don't simply have cash or don't have access to cash in that moment, they're forced to have their vehicle towed and pay the whole thing.
And I understand completely, because believe me, my car would get towed because I never have cash on me. So I would watch my car pull off. But I just wanted to make sure that legally that was fine. I completely understand and am fine with it. I just wanted to check that box.
If there's no other questions from council, is there any questions or anybody from the public that would like to speak? Come forward and give us your name and address.
On first name basis. My name's Bill Robinson, and I do a lot of work down at Doc Holliday's Marina. We have the biggest problem we've got: no parking, tow zones, the signs up, and everything else. I mean, there's 4 or 5 cars sometimes a day, sometimes 8 a day, golf carts, you name it. We can't control it. We've tried everything. I wear North Myrtle Beach out, calling them. It would be a whole lot more simpler for me to be able to pick up the phone, call a tow company, let them come and tow the vehicle, because by the time I wait on the police to get there, they're already, most of them come out, they want to fight, they want to pull guns, they want to pull knives. You don't know what you're dealing with. And it needs to happen quick.
This will help do that happen.
Yeah. So, it's sooner or later, somebody's going to get hurt over it. And it'd be a whole lot simpler for me to pick up the phone, call a tow company, and them be on the way, and instead of wait 45 minutes for the police to get there when they're tied up.
Okay. Well, this ordinance will solve that problem. You can call them, and as fast as they can get there, they can haul it off.
That would definitely help us.
Okay.
Thank you.
How y'all doing? My name is Richard Pate. I own Coastline Towing and Affordable Towing in North Myrtle Beach. Just had a couple issues. The new ordinance is fine, but a couple things. Obviously, one thing y'all had talked about was the credit card. We don't mind taking credit cards. We don't mind at all. At the end of the day, we just want to make sure that if they cancel it, could the city set up some kind of reserve to pay us the money back? We've had this happen numerous times already. That's one reason why we don't take the credit cards. And let me explain to you how it works. When a person gets back home, a lot of times they're not happy. They get home, they dispute it. The credit card company sends us a letter. They automatically suspend the money out of our account, take the money back. They give us 30 days to write a letter to dispute it. Then it goes to one of their councils or boards or however they figure it out. Then they figure out, well, are they telling the truth? Or are we telling the truth? Sometimes we get the money, sometimes we don't. The problem is it could take 2-3 months to do that. That's our problem with the credit card.
You had on record with the police where you called the tow in. Wouldn't that give you? We called the tow in. The police department of North Myrtle Beach recognized that. So indeed, he was in the wrong.
You're right, but you'd be surprised the things that they come up with. It's kind of like the excuses why they just got there. They were in the trunk getting their suitcases out. We towed their car off. They went in to check out. We towed their car off. Guys, we've never done that. It takes a little bit to get there. It takes a little bit to get the car hooked up and get going. We just want to be safe. We want to go there as quick as possible, do our job, and leave. We would like for the agent of record, if the council could see their way to maybe get rid of that, because what we've been after is to try to have it between the tow truck companies and the individual owners of the hotels, motels, condos, whatever it is. So we can get in there without a problem, because we don't want any of our employees to get hurt, to get beat up, get shot. There's a lot of crazy things going on in this world today. And that's kind of where we are with that. We just want to provide a service, and that's what we feel like we do. And I think the taxpayers of this city have the right to call who they want to call and have them towed. A lot of the condos, they don't have anybody there to patrol the lot, and that's what they hire us for. All the commercial stuff that we do, most of them are under contract. We're under contract to provide a service, and that's how we do it. I've been doing this. Can I continue, or should I need to stop?
Go ahead.
Okay. I've been doing this over 35 years, guys, and if we didn't do a good job, I wouldn't be in business today. We wouldn't be talking. I don't know anybody else in the city. There's maybe 1-2 tow companies that do a towing. If you ask them why, they'll tell you. One was the money, and the two, they just don't want the hassle. And that's what's going on with that. Dana and I have had some conversations to try to get together, and I think we've gotten together a lot. I think she would agree with that. I agree with that too. And it's important for us to be in concert with the police department. When we get on the scene, we should be on the same page. We shouldn't be saying, no, we can't do that, you can't do that. I don't think that looks good for her. It don't look good for my company. At the end of the day, we want to be together, same idea, and, provide a service. Just the credit cards is what we had an issue with, if we can figure out how to work that out, and then the agent of record. And, deal with the hour, I kind of think that's a little long too myself. If I was looking for my car, I'd kind of want to find it before an hour. We don't mind that, because I can tell you right now, we try to do it within 30 minutes. If it's got to be an hour, y'all can leave it, but we still going to call, probably within 5 or 10 minutes.
Richard, on the credit card issue, I understand. I'm in business as well, and that happens to me. You'd be surprised in the medical industry how many people get well and all of a sudden they never saw the doctor. So I go through that as well. And that's just a price of doing business. And, you know, if you've got their signature, because you on the phone can get their signature, and then you're calling in a report to the police, I think you just present those two things to the credit card company, and I think you'll get your money back, which is generally what we do. I do know sometimes it takes a little while, but that's really the only options you have, because in this day and age, not many people have cash. So I don't think we can get away from the credit card issue. Now, once again, the contact, you know, that is something I don't know
I
where
think
we
most
stand
people
on
you
that.
talk to that has us towed, they do not want to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and go out there and patrol their lot. That's what they're hiring us to do. And that's what we try to do. And we take pride in our work. Maybe y'all get a lot of complaints, and I'm sorry y'all do, and I'm sorry, Dana, for that. But I'm sure she takes pride in her patrol officers, and we take pride in our guys. And our guys do not ride around and look for things to tow that's not supposed to be towed. You know, she said that our drivers say, well, if we don't tow, we're not making money. It's not really that. It's you got to put the fire under their feet a little bit to do their job, or they'll be, you know, maybe sitting with some of these police officers having coffee somewhere, if y'all know what I mean. That was a joke. I hope you took that as a joke. But anyway, that's the whole deal. And, you know, I think we're real close. I think I'll leave it up to y'all, just kind of common sense. Thank you for your help.
Thank you. So I have a couple of thoughts on this. So we're talking about the credit cards. He's talking about, yeah, I mean, he already takes credit cards, so that's not the issue. The issue is, like, I'm sure a lot of the people that he tows, yeah, they're gonna be dishonest, and they're gonna say, I didn't give him permission to run my credit card, and I wanna file a fraud. That's going to happen with all the tows he ever does. We have nothing to do with that. That's just the nature of his business. What we're just saying is that you already do, yes, take credit cards. We are just saying, can you please extend that to those folks who they interject before their car actually leaves the property. And we're just saying, can you please offer them the ability to use a credit card or some form of digital payment, because it's most likely available to them, so that we can resolve this. Everyone goes their separate way. Mr. Pate is still compensated for his time and his people coming out there. He gets 50% of the tow, which is a significant increase over what it was before. So there are improvements there for his line of business. We're just saying, can we also extend the credit card use to those folks in that position? And yes, maybe some part of those are going to ultimately call and say, yeah, this is fraud and I didn't actually do it. And again, that's the cost of doing business. But to say that it's only those type of tows that are going to have people calling saying that, I didn't make that charge, I think that's just a problem that's going to exist within, the business that he runs. And number two, we keep talking about how we don't want to take away the right for private citizens to call and say, hey, we want something towed from my private property. We're 100% not changing anything other than the fact that if someone is going to have their vehicle towed from private property, and the money that they're going to have to pay and the inconvenience of having to come out, find out your car's not there, and then go track it down, all we're asking is that that tow is initiated by the private property owner, the person who ultimately should be upset enough that they're going to say, I'm going to take this person's private property and remove it from my private residence and put this burden on them. We're just saying we want to leave that to the private property owner or the representative of the private property, because they are saying this is such an inconvenience. We are going to initiate this activity, not leave it to those businesses that are going to benefit off that activity. I'm not saying that they're doing anything wrong, but you'd rather have that be initiated by the people who are saying this is such a problem that I want this removed from my property. Yeah. And everything we've done in this ordinance is really to benefit the towing companies. And there's a lot of things that we've done here. And it seems like the way I'm reading this is it's like we've given you all these things. The whole argument was, oh, it's taking too much time and we don't want to sit around for 45 minutes to an hour. Yeah, we've resolved that for you by saying we're not involved in it anymore. All you need is the owner to call and say that we want it towed, and you go out and tow it.
I don't have a problem with the residential at all. I 100% agree. Somebody parks in a residential yard, the owner should call and ask the tow company to come. It's the HOAs where a lot of the HOAs, the people aren't there. So, when they make a contract with that tow company, at that point, they're policing that parking lot or patrolling that parking lot, whatever you want to call it. So I feel like it's a different dynamic when you start to bring in big HOAs compared to private, businesses or private residents. And as far as the credit card thing goes, that's not a problem. I mean, I think we should have a credit card involved because most people today don't carry cash, including myself. But I do see where HOAs, especially because a lot of times they're not on site. So at that point, I think it should be the discretion of the contracted tow company that's been hired by that HOA.
And I understand what you're saying. I think the way we're looking at it is you could also just as easily say, we're going to have someone who represents the HOA who is there, who can vouch for the fact that this is a problem, this vehicle needs to be removed. So that person is going to be the person that calls the towing company and says, please remove this vehicle. Still the same thing. There's just one extra layer to go through before this person gets their vehicle towed, as opposed to saying, you, the person that runs a towing company, which if this car gets towed, you are going to directly benefit from this. You make the decision, and at your discretion, we will say whether this vehicle needs to be towed. I feel like we're trying to achieve and come to a compromise where we have the same situation, same kind of procedure we had before, which the important thing was saying, okay, we need to have the owner be the one to instigate this.
I'm not arguing with you, and I'm not arguing the point. I think at the end of the day, whatever council as a whole decides is where the direction will go. And I'm not defending the tow companies. Why I'm defending the HOAs is because we had HOA people come up and talk to us about they didn't like the process. And when I went to the High Rise Committee Association, I got blessed out by a lady about that process and how she did not agree. When I say blessed out, I mean blessed out. So the HOAs themselves don't like that process where they have to get up and they have to call the truck company. So I understand your point, and I'm ready to, as a council, just decide what we want to do and move on.
Okay. If you go out and your name and address.
Yep. My name's Pat Ucci. I'm at 1003 South Ocean Boulevard. I'm a board member at an HOA. Trey, you and I have met a couple times, so I have that perspective. High-rise condo on the ocean, and I love this new process. I think it streamlines it. I personally thought the process before was clunky, having to pull the police into it. We have property management companies. We have board members that live on site, and I would love to call Coastline direct and say, I got a problem here. We're the ones that can verify. We know who belongs on our property and who doesn't. And just to add to it, we're more than happy to do that. I do have concern, and this is an HOA building. I don't want Coastline just coming in and monitoring my property. It's private property. You might have something different in a motel or a shopping center, but an HOA building, we're more than empowered we should be empowered, and from my perspective, to be able to make this call myself. We have property management companies. Out of most boards have 5 people. There's probably 1 or 2, and I'll take the call and call Coastline whenever I need to. So that's my 2 cents on it, and I like the idea. I think it makes a lot of sense, and it puts our police force where they need to be.
Thank you very much. Are there any other people that have questions or would like to speak? If not, is there anything else, any other council members? If not, we'll go ahead and call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All oppose? No oppose. Motion approves. You didn't fall asleep, did you?
I did a few things there. It took a little long there. I'm not too bad. There's no new business, so we will open it up for public comment. If anybody like to come and speak before council, please give your name and address. We have a 3-minute time limit.
Damian Triolaire, 902 Perrin Drive, North Myrtle Beach. Boy, you guys, I'm amazed, number one, at the details that you have to deal with today. It was amazing, but how strongly you all stayed with it and dealt with it. So I thank you for that. I just want to, before I make my comments, just when it was very hard to hear way back, some of you are too far from the mic. Trey, if you could get a little closer. I couldn't, it was very hard to hear. Just some folks I could hear very well, and other folks it was very hard to hear. And I am a little older too, so. But just reference to everybody. But I wanted to just make a comment to, about 7 years ago, we invited Jay out to Wadey's Island to one of the family owners there, and then Jay and I invited Marilyn out there, Marilyn Hatley, and it's been a long process. We're talking 7 years since this started, and the governor got involved and came out a couple times. But right now, 3 people have signed off, have sold to the state. I said last summer, we're very close with one of the 4th member. But now what I've just heard is that we are really close. They're working out the final little details. Again, there's 5 family members and 1 large landowner, but the 4th family member is right on the edge. They're just working out fine little details between the state lawyers and her attorneys. So, God willing, 3 weeks from now, early June, the 4th family member will have signed, and I'll be contacting the governor's office to find out where the negotiations stand with the large landowner also. But it's someday it's gonna happen, and it's very, very close. And this will be one of the most beautiful state parks in all of South Carolina, and it's right on our doorstep. And it's going to be one heck of a good moment when that happens. So. And I thank you all I know a lot of you, most of you campaigned this last time on slowing the growth. I was kind of blown away that finally a lot of people in the citizens, we've all seen the tremendous growth in our area, but most of you campaigned on slowing the growth. So I really appreciate that. And God willing, we will preserve as much land as we can in the next 5 years because the force of development is still very strong. But we thank you all for the efforts you all do, and I think we're all in agreement that we want to preserve this beautiful area.
Thank you, Damien. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Are there any other comments by the public?
Damien, I was on there yesterday with my grandson.
Really?
Yeah, we fished a little bit and then we walked the property.
Wonderful. Yeah. It's so
Piece of
magnificent.
property. It is coming to fruition. Are there any other comments by the public?
Debbie Lumberdino, 309 49th Avenue North. I'm still, this has been a point of contention about the audits. And all we hear is, we're working on it. So can you all give us a timeline of when we can expect to have this finished?
I'll take that one for you.
Okay.
So we are working on it, and at our June 1st meeting, which is when we're going to have the public hearing for the budget, we will have the auditors that have been working on FY24 present to give presentation to council, go over the FY24, and they've already started on FY25, and they will give some realistic expectations of when to expect that, and then we'll be right back on track with FY26. So that being said, if you just bear with us for another month or so, it should be pretty clear as to where we're at.
Okay. Will the 2027 budget be available to the residents prior to June 1st or not?
It will be. So we should have it probably next week, and once we do.
Okay. Thank you. Just a couple of questions for the police. I looked at the report that you do, and it indicates like you had 95 responses to loud music. Does that mean that you actually issued citations, or those are just you responded to complaints about the loud music?
I mean, we're not in a question and answer, but we're glad to meet with you anytime.
Okay. Fine.
Any input, it's about giving us direction, what you'd like to see, but if you'd like to schedule a meeting, our emails are all online, including our chiefs, and she would be glad to meet with you and explain. I'm sorry?
She's here, so that's why I decided.
I understand, but,
That's okay.
okay, thank you. Are there any other comments by the public?
Hi, Pat Ucci. I wanted to see if council had an update on the ask for the seasonal beach rentals. I know we talked about it about a month ago. I've emailed, and thank you for the responses. I know you're considering it with Memorial Day being a week away. What is the thinking?
So, I think that's gonna take a little bit more time for us. I think there's a lot of our council members that would like to see that happen. However, there's a lot of, challenges with doing that. So we're working on it. But look, I can't give you an answer. I know Matt, if you would reach out to Matt Gibbons, he pretty much heads that up. And you can send an email to all of us, include Matt.
Oh, I've sent multiple, and you've all have responded saying you're working on it. and
Yeah,
I do appreciate
it's just some
it.
logistics that we got to figure out.
Yeah,
Figure
there's
out
a
if we
little
can make
bit
it
of a
happen.
sense
But I'm
of
gonna get you an
urgency.
answer, yes or no, one or the other. I'd like to have an answer.
Exactly. I think the clear direction, we've talked about it for quite a while.
I understand.
The season had always started Memorial Day, and I think you have a great opportunity for a good message to your residents.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Hello, I'm Ray Collins. I live at 611 South 21st Avenue, 29582. And as the unofficial spokesperson for the golf cart owners here in North Myrtle Beach, I would just like to ask the city to look at the hours of operation because in my golf cart, I got headlights, I got tail lights, I got signal lights. I've even got a light inside, but I don't need them because I can only drive during daylight hours. And I know some of the other communities in South Carolina now have extended the hours. I don't want to drive 24 hours a day, but it'd be nice to be able to be out after dark and go home with my lights on. If golf cart doesn't have any light, they shouldn't be on the street. But anyway, just a consideration, something for you to talk about. You can look around at the other municipalities around here and see what they're doing. And you might say it's a safety issue, but we have probably now more LSVs on the street than we have golf carts. They don't have anything that I don't have. So that's my little spiel right there. And once again, in case you don't know, Mayor Baldwin, before he ever became mayor, helped us to get our golf carts back on the street, on Main Street, so we could enjoy the concerts. And by the way, at the end of September, it'll be dark, about 7:30. So that means that if we get there, it starts at 6:30, and we got to leave 15 minutes early, we don't get to see very much of it. So that's my take.
Thank you so much. Are there any other comments by the public? Hearing none, I'll need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank y'all so much.